welcome everybody to Cameron Parish Police Jury's agenda meeting, morning session, Monday, January 12th, 2026. We'll get started with a pledge of allegiance and a prayer. Father. All right. Welcome everybody. Miss Dinah. Dinah with the Council on Aging.
Good morning, and Happy New Year.
New Year.
We got to look forward to this year. It's definitely going to be better than the past. We're here today, me and my group, to say thank you. We're here to thank you all for helping us every year with our nutrition program. The seniors get their meals delivered to their homes, and you guys give a contribution to that program. And it means the world to them. It's very easy for us to say, okay, we're going to go out and get something to eat. But these people are either homebound or they're folks that just can't afford to do those kind of things. And so we just have a small treat for you, but I have some folks here who are going to deliver to you. So let's see who gets to be first. None of them wanted to be first because they don't know what they're doing, they said. But you know what? They're saying thank you. So, let's see who we have here. Rusty, you come and be first. And this is for the president, Mr. Ronald Nunez.
Right.
You want to present it to him? And we're going to take a group picture, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, we have the next one. It's going to be Miss Glenda. Whoa, 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 whoa. And her presentation is to Mr. Michael Fuel. Michael? And Miss Beulah. Miss Beulah is going to make her presentation today to Mr. Sun. And Mr. Johnny, you were wondering what Mr. Ray Orno was doing here, huh? Is that what you asked him? Is he lost? No, Mr. Ray came over because he wants to make a presentation to you.
All right.
And Mr. Tommy.
Mr. Ray, Mr. Ray.
Please, we're gonna take a group picture.
And Mr. Tommy is going to make his presentation to Mr. Wendell Wilkerson. And Mr. Sims.
Oh, we probably gotta take a picture of Jefferson.
And Mr. Moore, you get the queen of them all. Miss Allie Mae, are you ready to come down to make your presentation? All right. Okay, guys, if y'all want to move in by your one you presented to, they're gonna get a picture.
Could you guys group up a little more?
Maybe get in, Mr. John?
Tommy, want to move in a little? There you go. No fighting. No fighting.
Oh, okay. But he was,
And everybody move in this way, please.
Sam.
Y'all must be close to each other.
We don't need you. She's got it.
all right, guys, and 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you.
Wait,
Oh, sorry.
Sonny.
Don't be camera shy. I'd like to get at the pilot, okay?
Yes.
Okay, good smile, y'all. Thank you so much.
One more. You George is funny. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Dinah, council. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. We're trained.
Good. Mr. Edward Peterson. Doing, sir?
Oh, good. This is gonna be short and sweet. We're just asking y'all's permission. We wanna make a little adjustment on the veterans wall. Put a digital display up there. A lot of people pass by there, they don't even know where the veterans wall is at. And it's, y'all seen a picture I sent y'all? I know Mark had it, Johnny, Wendell. One of them, Sue, I don't really know you all. I'm not familiar with you. The rest of them I've been knowing for years. We just want y'all permission and possibly a little help in the parish when we get ready to do it, to set up these displays. It's gonna be a sign by, I got a bid from, quote from Acme already. I got 2 more I'm waiting on, but I wanted to do it once I get y'all's okay. If that's fine with y'all.
What kind of help you looking for, Mr.
No,
Edward?
just when we get ready to set this up, I'm gonna get them to do it. In case we need any parish help, you know, to unload something or,
Yes, sir.
it's gonna be light enough and it's gonna be removable. I've done spoke with Susan at the courthouse. we take them off for a storm, we can store them in her office. Because I know the courthouse will be here. These other buildings, I'm not sure about.
I'm sure Mr. Alex and Miss Katie will be more than glad to
Okay,
help y'all out with that.
You plan on putting one on each side?
one on both sides.
Okay.
And it's gonna be just visible from both sides too. You'll have 4 displays on there, showing the Cameron Parish Veterans Wall with the flag. It's not gonna be high-tech, it's gonna be basic.
Said the big problem is those flags are just so hard to maintain and to get good flags.
There can't be good flags anymore.
So every time you see them, they're kind of ragged looking. With this, will possibly alleviate some of that problem.
Yeah, I change them as often as I can.
I know they were changing them.
Huh?
Maybe as short ago as a month ago or so. I saw
No,
them.
I put them back, that's all new flags, Veterans Day,
Mhm.
November 11th.
I think that'd be a good idea, though, really.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
It'd be less maintenance for I'm not old, I'm only 75, but I'm getting older. And there's only 3 of us now that maintain the wall. It's me, Mr. Charlie Atkins, and Gilbert, Mark's brother.
We need to recruit some of our younger veterans, huh?
Our younger veterans, well, Wendell's about the youngest one that I know of. And he's no spring chicken either. So I sure appreciate y'all's support.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you, Mr.
Thank you.
Everett. Thank you. Thank you for your service. All right, Mr. Bo Tate. Hopefully all good news, right?
All good news.
All good.
Just wanted to give y'all an update and see if y'all had any questions. On the Cameron side of things, we're done with all pole installation, so we're still working on the distribution and demo on Cameron. On the substations, we still have Hackett and Grand Chenier and Sturleys that we're working on. We're anticipating probably around June to be done with everything, all substations, all demo. Same thing on the Hackberry side, June, but we're still running transmission from Holly Beach to Hackberry, and we're still working on the Crown substation on that side.
Just
But,
in time for hurricane season. We won't lose any power, right?
I'm not promising that. We'll still have some poles up though when we get back. Want to know if y'all had any other questions or comments or any concerns?
I do have one question. I see they're picking up the matting debris along where they put the poles. You know how long that's gonna take?
It's consistent because, you know, they're picking it up along the shoreline and they're moving it north to Hackberry. I don't have a timeline, they just do it as they need the mats further up north. But it's always constant, ongoing.
Any other problems?
No, I mean, we're off for generators, all the poles are up. There will be a few more outages down the road when we get the Holly Beach substation up and Hackett and Grand Chenier. There'll be some more outages, but those will be posted online and everything. But we have no issues right now.
Mr. Bo, as Mr. Sonny brought up, can y'all please make sure y'all very detailed on that pickup as far as even magnets, cause pick up the nails and stuff, cause
Yep.
our tractors and kicking up wood, you know, from a safety perspective.
Okay, yeah, we'll pass that along to our inspectors and to the contractors.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. This Connie Hornsby is? No?
I didn't know I was gonna talk, not been to any of your meetings before. I come down here to represent, or really my family, Rutherford Beach. We have lot 199 off of Cameron Drive, which is west of the intersection there at West Avenue. I have seen in the paper and have heard hearsay that y'all are going to close that section of Cameron Drive. But then again, I hear that it's not to close it, it's to abandon it. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. I don't know if y'all can explain, or is there going to be more discussion at the meeting today? Mr. Daigle?
Yeah, I know. I think I met you on site
Yes, you did.
a few months back. It was brought up more of a safety concern and as a liability because the road is deteriorated and no longer there. And after speaking with the Rutherford Estate who created that, those roads was never meant to access the beach. It was to access the housing and the properties of the subdivision. And the beach has eroded and took it far enough to where theoretically Cameron Drive is now part of the beach. It is. In the beach.
It has arisen past our property going west. In fact, I was out there this morning, and it may not mean much to most of you if you're not familiar with it, but this morning with low tide and the north winds, we have land. We have our lots. It's not a big deal. I'm sure they'll be underwater by as soon as the wind turns to the south. But that property does still mean something to us. We're still paying our taxes. We still own it. And I'm just worried that y'all are gonna close Cameron Drive. We have no other route to the land. You can't go on the water side because there's no roads there. They all end in the water. So I don't know if you're talking to abandon your upkeep of it, or if you were talking about closing it. If you close it, are you going to put up barricades where we can't get to the property?
No, it's just abandoning it. We won't be upkeeping what is now in the Gulf of America or the beach, or that continues to go underwater. We will not be blocking it. It's basically for public use.
Upkeeping it where it still is? It's under the sand. It's been under the sand since Rita. We had the property, Rita came, and what Rita left, Ike took away. But the road is still there. I know you gotta go up to get it because so much sand has built up. I don't know if y'all ever plan to shave all that sand down and either move it on our property or move it out. Like I said, I haven't been coming to your meetings, so I don't really know what y'all's plans are.
If we was to shave the sand down on a regular day at high tide, the road would be underwater.
Well, you couldn't do it on high tide.
Yeah.
You
I
couldn't
don't
do
think
it.
the jury's obligation.
Maybe allude to the state and how they see some of that stuff. That really makes a big point.
Well, from talking with the state and looking at some maps the state gave, because we was pretty much, unfortunately, our legal counsel won't be here for today, but anyhow, we kind of brought it to his attention, and after looking at it and seeing pictures, it's in the best interest on a legal standpoint to do it, to do away with this road, because many past yours, because your water meter and the electric pole that would probably be in your front yard on your lot stays in the water most of the year. But just say the people past you, they're 100 yards out into the water on the end of Cameron Drive.
And I understand that part of the property.
So basically, at the state's point of view, the state actually owns almost to the second road according to them.
That's right. We lived with that.
So technically, we're gonna be relinquishing ourselves from the road as far as the upkeep at the corner. However, it is still accessible to the public because it is now state property.
Okay. Now, you really haven't provided any upkeep to it since Rita or Ike. You say you're gonna stop your upkeep. I don't know that there has been any upkeep. I can drive to my property, but I have to be careful that I don't go off, because then I'm gonna get stuck in the sand. So I guess what you're basically saying is you're not going to upkeep it, but it's gonna be left to how it's been the last 20 years? Where
If
we
that's
can
your
still
opinion and
use
your
it?
perspective of it, yes, ma'am.
We can still use it at our own discretion on safety and all of that.
So we actually have an ADA in the audience
Yes, sir.
that can
Mr.
kinda,
Bryant.
he can kinda explain some legality of this.
Yeah, so the state essentially owns up to the mean high water mark. My appreciation is if the parish were to abandon the roadway, that doesn't do anything to public access. The public would continue to be able to access, just like it can all the way east, all the way west in that area that's under state control. And my appreciation is by abandoning it, you're just removing the parish for any responsibility for maintenance, right?
Correct.
So there's, liabilities lifted for the parish.
That's correct, yes.
I got a question real quick. Have we talked to the state about this, and are they gonna exercise their right to go to the mean high tide?
The
But they
state,
don't exercise that right in many places, and I wanna make sure we do not restrict access unless we've guaranteed that with the state.
I know from speaking with the guy from the state, which they technically don't want to get too involved with it because I think somebody brought it up in 1990, the state was going to come in and demolish a bunch of camps out there because they claimed to own the property, so it said. But I was trying to get the state to come in and get us more of a clear path of what is actually state, what is actually people's property, because I'll go meet, like we say with this lady, we pay taxes on it. That's correct, they're paying taxes on it. It is in the water. Matter of fact, we cleaned up quite a bit of stuff I think was left from y'all's camp or something. Septic tanks, pipes, quite a bit of stuff that's out into the beach. With further review, because there is a form I want to say for you to go fill out with the tax assessor. You can relinquish it, or you could keep paying the taxes. But from listening to the state's point of view, no matter how much it eats in, if it builds back up, it's still the state property on certain different laws and legalities. But the gist of it was the liability for the parish and keeping the people the access. The access is going to be there. You can hit Rutherford Beach, go east or west like you can any day of the week. You can drive down it. When you hit to the end, we just won't be upkeeping what's now we're going to consider the beach in the state. But we do look at it because when I first got in, it was a safety concern with all that stuff out there, kind of where y'all's property is. And it took quite a bit of help from Miss Care, and at the time it was Mr. Shane and then Mr. Alex also and our road crew. We worked with the state and tried to get a lot of that picked up and cleaned up for safety reasons. And if anything arises like that again, I'm sure for safety reasons we can go through that alleyway to get stuff like that cleaned up. But as far as the roadway, it just, from a legal standpoint, it don't pay that has 8 feet of beach sand on it and then that's underwater to continue to have it as our right of way.
Yeah, and we appreciate the cleaning up because we don't have the vehicles or equipment. I mean, you're gonna sink as soon as you get off until it firms up, but it is building up. It's, like I said, it's not a biggie for a lot of you, but if you own the lot, 199 Cameron Drive, it's huge this morning. I walked out and I'm like, we've got land, wow. We've waited 20 years to see our land. As far as the state, the correspondence with the state has turned up over the years. They don't really want the land, but if minerals are found on the land, they want the minerals. And everybody's in agreement, with that. So that's not our question. I was just wanting to make sure that y'all did not barricade the road because it is coming back.
Yep.
Now, what y'all, if it does come back, if the occasion arises to maybe do something with the road, that's another question, and that's for the future. But please don't barricade it or close it off.
That's not the intentions.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Lillian Garrett.
I'm coming because, they told me to attend the meeting about food truck permits to try to, you only allow 4 or 5 on this side, and we're trying to see about expanding that number. Well, I mean, I'm permitted on the other side, on the Holly Beach side, but on this side, I mean, 5 is definitely not enough for this side, and we're just trying to find out why there's only 5 allowed. Why is there?
Good question.
Of course, I'm new to the board, and I don't know that this is a legal question. I don't know how legally we can say
Well, that's
there's
what I
only
think.
gonna
That's
be
what I
X
say.
amount of anything. So we're gonna limit the amount of food trucks, we can only have 10 sprint boats in Cameron. We can
Well-
only have 10, or 5 or 6 camping spots, and where do you
Right.
stop? We can only have 3 in LNGs, we can't have any more. Where do we stop with that? How is that legal?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to reach out to legal counsel. They're not available today, so we're
Okay.
gonna have to ask that question.
And then because I've been actually approached by Venture Global, you know, why can't you just come here? Why can't you go there? Or they've asked me, why can't I go to the RV park? Well, I've tried to get with the owner there. I've said, what about at the boat dock, you know, or where the other food trucks are? And they just keep saying, oh, the police jury's just not gonna have it. There's no way 5 food trucks, even though I know I have heard the rumor about something about police jury and they're gonna have a company that can come feed 3,000 people, that's nowhere near enough. And it's the employees that are friends of ours that are like, why aren't you coming? I'm like, until they open up the permits, we can't come, but these people are looking for a place to, they all came from Plaquemine and Port Sulphur, they think they're gonna live here and eat here. They're not gonna be living here and eating here, there's not enough places to live here or eat here. I mean,
I don't think we can stop you from being on Venture Global's property, so if Venture Global wants you there, that's up to Venture.
well, I have to be able to get them permit, and it's only limited to 5, and that's
Not if you're
basically only
inside-
the locals.
Not if you're inside their walls, but that's not the point. To get back to the number, we're working with an ordinance that's been in place for a long time.
Right.
The ordinance was put in place to protect people who had residential businesses because they pay taxes and they have rights, and we didn't want them to be swamped with
Right.
outsiders coming in and cooking. I agree with you, there's an issue as to the numbers. The numbers have worked so far, but as the new construction goes on, it's gonna get worse and worse. So I think we should explore it again, see how many more we wanna take, and see if there's any issues associated with that.
So Sonny, do we limit the number of trash companies that come into Cameron? Do we limit the number of people that have marsh machines to come into Cameron? Trucking companies, I mean, you can go on and on and on with this to protect our local people, and I'm local, but I've had to deal with this for 50 years, basically, of people coming in from out of town and coming in, whether it's running a trucking company or trash, or whether it's construction. We can't, I don't see how legally, and there you go again, that's a legal question, how we can put a moratorium on how many food trucks we can have. And look, I wanna protect the local people as much or more than anybody does. I hate that. But the long and short, if this is a free enterprise system, how can we block somebody from coming in? If they can't make it, they can't make it, they're gonna leave. And the same thing with our local people, if the other ones are beating them, whether it's what they're selling to eat or the times that they stay open or whatever it is. The other thing, how do those food trucks, are they hooked up to city sewage? What are they hooked up to?
They
The ones
are,
that we have,
in
they're hooked
Cameron
up to
they are.
city sewage. So I don't know what the requirements are, but I mean, if we need to raise the cost of the permit or some kind of mechanism to make it to where it's fair for everybody, but I don't.
Yeah, all of that is definitely something you can do through your ordinance. This ordinance was vetted through legal and recommended for passage. The jury just set the number that they wanted to see that was limited, and like Mr. Sonny alluded to, it was passed under a prior administration. That's not something because of demand. If you want to repeal that ordinance, if you want to increase the number, if you want to remove it altogether, that is well within your authority. It's just an ordinance
So do we need to
passage.
make ordinances for every type of business there are? or just food trucks?
Food truck specifically was the only one that was
No.
researched
So
by
if
the
we can do,
district
if
attorney.
we can do food trucks, can we do it for other businesses?
If researched and approved.
I mean, that's,
Everything's different. Your food truck permit falls underneath a different ordinance than something like an occupational licensing would. So that would be something that your DA could definitely vet if that's something you want to see. But right now, just specifically, when we're talking about food trucks, that is something that's created through your ordinance. You can change it. Like I said, you can reduce the number, you can increase the number. That is 100% within your purview. But just to address what your original question was, if you are wanting to provide a catering type service to LNG companies, you can do that. You do not need a food truck permit. You need an occupational license.
Yeah, we will be using our truck though. I mean, we can do that too, they said, but like I said, I'm permitted on the other side. Even though you're permitted and you pay on the other side, you still gotta be permitted and pay on this side. But you have to be literally camping out on the grounds to get there, to get maybe one of the 5. The locals, food trucks that are even here, we're friends with. And they're struggling because there's no way. I mean, 20,000 people are right now coming here, more than what you already have. There's no way to keep up. Not just me, not just nobody. And I mean, I just don't, I mean, I know it's been, pretty much the problem came in, they said, is because it's been an ordinance for so long, nobody has really just tried to change it or bring it up or, you know.
Well, I know my perspective on the food trucks, which I ask time and time again, and it's always, oh, they either don't pay taxes or this. I don't know the real corporate behind why it's 5. But what I will say, I agree with Mr. Wendell. It either needs to be all or none, and unfortunately down here, there's not people lining up at the door to build an actual facility and restaurant. And to me, maybe the best will survive. To me, we either open it up for all.
I'm one of the best.
Or none.
I serve Fort Polk. I serve Fort Polk, a 25,000 person crowd with 13 of us.
And look,
We're
without putting a cap on a number, you're not controlling the market. So maybe
Right.
that'll get the prices lower for somebody coming down here.
Right.
Instead of getting a plate lunch for $20-something, maybe it go back to $10 or $12.
My highest menu item is $12, just for FYI.
So,
My plate lunch is fully loaded. It weighs about 2 pounds, and it's $12.
so
And it's home cooked fresh every day.
that's just my perspective.
Yeah.
I always be for and to promote Lower Cameron Parish, because I mean nobody's lined up coming, and yeah, sometimes
Right.
most of them are not from here, but unfortunately, a lot of people that are from here is not stepping up to the plate to do a business, and the ones that are, you know,
We're trying to camp out up here to try to get here. Even the local food trucks, they don't have a problem with it. I mean, you gotta figure, we gotta pay permits and all that on this side. We gotta pay permits and all that on this side. We gotta pay for them to be inspected regular, all that. Then on top of that, y'all's friendly little person that has some land, we won't mention any names, right there as food truck, they want $3,000 a month to sit there. So we're not coming here free. We're not asking for nothing free. We're just asking to be given a chance, So,
Guys, do you want
Right.
us to add that to the agenda in February, consideration of an ordinance change for
Sure.
the truck?
Yeah, I think we need to talk to Mr. Tom, I guess, Mr. Brian.
It just seems
Also,
like a
in the meantime.
ongoing issue. Almost every meeting now, somebody been coming with a new food truck or food truck idea, and in my opinion, that should be something as easy as going to permit, paying for you a permit, and going set up, and wish you the
the
best.
permit, the sheriff department on both, yeah.
Just-
But, and my guys from LNG, and anybody will really say this, I know they own the lighthouse and all that, they all say they don't wanna eat snapper for lunch after working in the heat all day. They want a hamburger and fry, most of them, or a plate lunch, I'm sorry, but that's what they want.
And we could work on the permit, but there's still issues having to do with the commissary and everything else that goes through the health department. So, we can work on the permit, and see where it goes.
So in February, we will add to the agenda in February, consideration of removing the limit of food truck permits to be issued in the town of Cameron, village of Cameron. And it'll just be a yes or no. Do you want to remove the limit, or do you want to keep it in place? That'll be in February.
And as far as LDH and all that you gotta get before you even come to it.
I already have it, and I have a commissary, and they told me that I'm allowed to have a rolling commissary. So by the time they told me that before January, I already turned another food truck into a commissary,
Yes, ma'am.
ready to go. So I have 2. So I have everything in place. I have all the permits from Cameron. I have everything. I'm just trying to get permission.
In February.
All
Will
right.
you be able to send out a date or?
You got any
a date?
questions?
It's the second Monday of the
Any questions?
Keep it real hot.
All right, thank y'all.
And just to manage expectations, it'll just be considered in February. If you do vote to remove the limit, you'll still have to go through the ordinance change process with advertisements. They'll have a public hearing, so it would not probably be made effective till March at the earliest.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Mr. Blaine Little.
Good morning. I'm here to express my concerns about the proposed industrial lay-down yard and parking lot planned for Austin Road and Albert Little Road. First and foremost, this project has not benefit the parish nor the town of Hackberry. It creates no jobs, brings no new services, and adds no new value to local families. The only ones who benefit from this project are the private investors behind it, a private investor who is not even a resident of Cameron Parish. Meanwhile, the people who bear consequences are the people who live here, raise family here, and have made lifelong commitments to this community. This area is and has always been a residential neighborhood. Families live here, children play here, homeowners invested here with the expectations that it would remain a safe and quiet place to live. Allowing an industrial operation in the middle of the neighborhood permanently changes the character of the area. When I come home, I like to sit on my front porch. I like to watch the sun go down, wave at passing neighbors, listen to the sound of nature, and enjoy the peace that comes from living in a residential neighborhood. It's where I unwind, where families and friends visit, where me and my dog play in the front yard, and where children feel comfortable riding bikes and playing outside. The sense of peace and safety is a big part of why I chose to live where I do. If this project is approved, that will disappear. Instead of quiet evenings, it will be surrounded by truck engines, backup alarms, headlights, and strangers. Once that way of life is gone, it cannot be replaced. Road safety is also a major concern. Our parish roads were not built to handle heavy industrial traffic. Large trucks entering and exiting daily create real dangers for families, children, pedestrians, and anyone driving through the area. Increased traffic also raises concerns for emergency access. Fire trucks and ambulances should not have to compete with industrial vehicles on residential roads. Noise is not the only concern for nearby homes, but there's also a local church located less than 350 feet away from the proposed site. This church serves as a place of worship, reflection, and gathering. Industrial noise from trucks, equipment, and daily operations would interfere with service, prayer, and church activities. A project like this is not compatible with the needs of a place of worship so close by. I respectfully ask the police jury to consider denying the approval of this project. I ask that you stand behind the people who you are elected to represent. Please protect the residents of the parish, not outside investors seeking profit at the expense of our community.
Thank you, Blaine.
I know that they wanna talk about tabling that so that they can get their, something they didn't do done. I'm for voting against this today. It's no different than a man camp or anything else. They have the right to protect their community. I stand behind them. I'm gonna make the vote. We vote this down and see where it ends.
Blaine has discussed with you and other residents, this is a coastal use permit, so, just like I said, we don't have zoning and all the different, rules there, so there is some hurdles, but it's not really of a discussion today. As Mr. Sonny said, it is tabled, there's still some other things that have to be checked off before this even proceeds, but do appreciate you coming, along with the few others that are coming to voice, and the owner, and I think he's here as well. I think he's got an understanding of the way the community feels.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
And just, it's not tabled until we table it. I'm here to say today, vote it down. We don't want him to expend a bunch of money doing this, whatever he has to do for a permit that we're gonna vote down. So I'm for voting it down, and I'm gonna make that motion.
Anybody else want to speak on that issue? Please.
I also have a petition from our neighbors and other people for y'all to look at. Brandy Brown.
Brown.
So, members of the police jury, thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Brandy Brown, and I'm a resident at 181 Albert Little Road. and I am here to address the construction of a 9-acre industrial laydown yard that is currently requesting a coastal use permit. This laydown yard will be developed in the middle of a residential area that is also within a flood zone. The issue is not opposing development or industry. Cameron Parish has a long history of working alongside industry, and many of us depend on it. However, the coastal use permit process exists for one reason: to ensure that development in coastal and flood-prone areas does not affect people, property, and public resources at an unreasonable risk. This proposed project fails that test. First, the location matters. A 9-acre gravel laydown yard is an industrial use, not a residential one. Placing such a facility in the middle of an established neighborhood fundamentally alters the character of the area and exposes residents to risks they did not create and cannot control. Second, this site is within a flood zone, an issue that cannot be minimized or ignored in Cameron Parish. We live with flooding, storm surge, and drainage challenges as a result of coastal life. Replacing natural or semi-permeable land with 9 acres of compacted gravel increases runoff, disrupts natural drainage patterns, and heightens flood risk, not just on the project site, but on neighboring homes and properties. When flooding occurs, and it will, the consequences will not fall on the developer alone. They will fall on homeowners, first responders, parish infrastructure, and taxpayers. Denying this permit is not punitive, it is preventative. Third, the coastal use permit process requires consideration of public safety, environmental impacts, and compatibility with surrounding land uses. A gravel laydown yard brings heavy truck traffic, industrial equipment, noise, lighting, potential contamination, and increased wear and tear on local roads, all of which are incompatible with a residential neighborhood, especially one already vulnerable to flooding. Issuing a permit under these circumstances would set a dangerous precedent that industrial scale development can be approved in flood-prone residential areas without regard for long-term consequences. The police jury has both the authority and the responsibility to act in the best interest of the parish as a whole. Denying this permit sends a clear and reasonable message that development must be appropriately, responsibly, and with respect for the people who already live here. This decision is not anti-growth. It is pro-safety, pro-residents, and pro-responsible planning. It protects homeowners, preserves community stability, and reduces future liability for the parish. I urge this body to stand firm in defending the denial of the coastal use permit for this project. It is the right decision for public safety, flood mitigation, and long-term welfare of Cameron Parish. I want to continue by acknowledging a reality we all understand. Cameron Parish does not have zoning requirements. Many of us who live here accept that as part of life in a rural working parish that supports industry, energy, and growth. This is not anti-business statement, and it is not an attempt to stop progress. However, the absence of zoning does not mean the absence of responsibility and does not mean that residents are without legal protection. Louisiana Civil Code Act Article 667 is very clear on this point. Article 667 states that while a property owner may use their property as they see fit, they may not use it in a way that causes damage to a neighbor. It further provides that even when activities are lawful and conducted on one's own property, the owner can still be responsible if those activities cause harm through excessive noise, vibrations, dust, traffic, lights, or other disturbances that exceed normal neighborhood tolerances. In plain language, Article 667 recognizes that property rights end where unreasonable harm to others begins. A 9-acre laydown yard is not a minor or temporary use. It brings heavy truck traffic, constant equipment movement, industrial noise, lighting at all hours, potential drainage issues, and safety concerns. These impacts are not speculative. They are predictable and well-documented consequences of this type of facility. Placing such an operation directly within a residential area fundamentally changes the character of the neighborhood and places an unfair burden on the families who live there. Families who built homes, raised children, went through multiple hurricanes, and we all returned, and we still choose to rebuild and to invest our lives in the area that we reasonably believe would remain residential in nature. Without zoning, the police jury becomes the last line of protection for residents. Article 667 gives this body both the legal foundation and the moral authority to act before damage occurs. rather than after residents are forced into costly legal battles just to protect their homes, health, and quality of life. I'm asking the police jury to take this matter seriously and to consider reasonable action, whether that is requiring mitigation measures, limiting the scope of operations, enforcing setbacks, hours of operations, buffering, or even reconsidering whether this site is appropriate for an industrial laydown yard at all. Growth should not come at the expense of people who already live here. Industry and residents can coexist, but only when there are boundaries, accountability, and common sense. Cameron Parish may not have zoning laws, but we do have Louisiana law. And Louisiana Civil Code Article 667 exists precisely for situations like this. I urge you to stand up for the residents that voted you into office and ensure that development is done responsibly, lawfully, and with respect for those who call Cameron Parish home. And thank y'all for y'all's time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Anthony,
It's okay, could I speak loud?
sir?
I said, could I speak loud?
Yes. Mr. Daniel Salazar?
Hey, good morning to all. Hi, my name is Dan Salazar. I'm with Nolo Tacos. I'm one of the food trucks out in Cameron. My request is if I could add an extension to I have a small truck. It's like a little 16-footer. And with all the people coming in, it's getting harder and harder for us to push everything out a little small window. And I do have a bigger truck at home. And my request is if I could bring it in to divide my menu. I have 6 items in my menu. So I could push and get people out faster and the workers back to work and all that. That's the request I have, if I could be able to do it. I already have a permit and all and everything.
Ms. Robin, you got any insight on that or any way forward maybe for him? From my understanding, it sounds like you wanna take a small truck and replace it with a bigger truck?
No, he's asking to bring in, he wants to have 2 food trucks.
2.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Serve certain amount of foods in one truck and certain type of food in another truck.
We're not adding, we're just dividing my menu, splitting it to trucks to get push people out.
Yeah,
faster.
so basically it would go back to the numbers of the food truck.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. I think next meeting, it sounds like it's on there for us to vote one way or another to do away with the limit of food trucks. I think that would probably be the only option if you want to, do 2.
Okay, sure.
So you understand?
As it sits now with the ordinance.
Correct, okay.
You can't swap out your smaller with your bigger though, right, Robin?
Yes, he can, but he wants 2 food trucks.
Yes,
He
it
wants
is.
to serve
Yeah.
a certain type of food, what?
Yeah, just split my menu halfway, because, I have 6 items, split 3 and 3 out the window, I request.
It sounds like the volume of stuff
Instead
is,
of buying one big truck like my neighbor did, spend all that money, just bring in another truck and just have them next to each other, back to back.
And serve like,
Tacos,
Taco.
quesadillas, burritos, and fajitas, and beer tacos, and tortas on the other ones.
Right.
Split it halfway.
So it would be another truck, but yeah, no, if you wanted to use your bigger truck and take the other one out, he would still have to go through LDH approval.
Yeah.
And we would just replace it in our permit,
yeah.
because he is one of the 5.
Depending on how the ordinance vote will go next meeting, will determine if you'll be able to use 2. At the moment, how it's worded and by the bylaws, you can't add another truck to the township of Cameron.
Right, the thing is with my truck, both of my trucks only have one window, so that's my issue. And if I make on the bigger truck, make another window, then it'll probably be long.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But thank y'all, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doc?
Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
I want to raise a vetting issue with you on appointment of persons of public body, and I'm speaking as a hospital commissioner, but I'm representing myself. I'm certainly not speaking for the hospital board. And I want to go back to your vote of last year, 02 June 2025. Let me read from the minutes. It was moved by Mr. McGee and seconded by Mr. Daigle and carried, the board hereby reappoints Mary Canick to the Lower Cameron Hospital Service District Board. Now, the governing statute, one of the governing statutes for hospital commissioners states as follows. This is LARS 46-1053, paragraph A. A commissioner shall be a qualified voter and resident of the district. You have to be a voter and resident of the hospital district. Also, Louisiana Constitution, Article 8, Section 2A1, homestead exemption shall apply to the primary residence. So bottom line is, if you want to be a hospital commissioner, you got to live in the district, you got to be a registered voter to requirements. Well, at the time you reappointed her, public record reveals she was not a resident of the district. At the time you appointed her, she was living at 151 Martin Hebert Street, Lake Charles. I'm sure you folks know Cameron Parish, and I'm sure you folks know where that is. And that is not in the district of the hospital service area, basically Lower Cameron. And for the record too, while she was on the board, 2024, she was not a resident of the district, according to public record. 2023, she was not a resident of the district, according to public record. 2022, not a resident of the district, according to public record. 2021, same story. 2000, same story. Now, I realize you didn't appoint her originally to the board, but at the time, I'm going to submit to you that she was probably not a resident of the district. So, in a way, you've sort of failed in terms of doing any type of appropriate vetting, and prima facie public records reveals she should not be on the board. And I would say at this point, there's two options with this. And as you gentlemen know, I sent you a letter last year on this topic. Two ways I can see you can handle this. Number one, you are the governing authority by statute for this board. And you've taken an oath. And that oath is supposed to represent, and Maureen, I'm going to look at you when I say this. You know what an oath is. An oath is to support the statutes of this state. It also requires integrity. You have to have integrity. And with that combination, one hand is she should not be sitting at the table. Find someone else to replace her. The other way, if you want to conspire with this hospital board and just continue the subterfuge, the backhandedness, do the Barrett sweep. Sweep this underneath the carpet and forget about it and go on. And that opens the door to outside agencies coming in. So at this point, I think you gentlemen need to make a decision on how to handle this. And, you know, there's a lot of ramifications with this too. If you're not allowed to sit on the board, what are you doing signing checks for the board? The board's aware of this. Last year on 2 board occasions, November, December, I made a point of order under parliamentary procedures. And as you know, a point of order cannot be halted, cannot be interrupted. I raised a point of order on November and December meetings to bring this issue up. Both times, I was interrupted by this piece of garbage we call a district attorney, who cut me off, or tried to cut me off. And I think that represents the problem we have.
Keep it cool, huh?
Sir?
Keep it cool, please.
Yes, sir, I will do, yeah. I think I had better names than garbage, but I think for a public meeting, I'm gonna supply garbage for now. So gentlemen, I think it's up to you to take action on this. You're the governing authority. Now, I also understand that you received a document authored by Tammy Peshoff, which refers to voting irregularities to this hospital board vote, this hospital tax vote we recently had. And if I recall right, there's 48 names on that list. You may be advised, or you may know already, that there's 4 people on that list who are also hospital board commissioners. And if it were to pan out that that investigation reveals those 4 weren't residents of the parish, residents of the district on the board, that's 4 out of 7 people that should not be on a hospital board. That means you never had a quorum on this hospital board. So there's a Pandora's box there, gentlemen. It's up to y'all to fix it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
With that said, is there somebody from the district attorney's office would like to read the response from the,
Yeah, please, Mr. Brown, I apologize.
I think most of you know, I'm not sure how many people here know, but Tom suffered a loss in his family over the weekend. That's why he's not here this morning. Speaking, there were a lot of issues raised just now. I've been asked to look into a very narrow set of those, so I'm not prepared to, give opinion of the district attorney office until yesterday evening. I understood Tom was going to be here. I think Tom thought he would be here until yesterday evening, so I really don't think it'd be appropriate for me to start giving my opinions.
You know, it wasn't your opinion I was asking for. I think they've gotten a response from the state.
They may well have. I was understanding that there was a request. There may have been a request that went out. I haven't seen that, so I can't really speak to it. I don't.
Sonny, you referring to the district attorney's office?
I'm referring to the deal on the voter registration that they were complaining about people voting not being legally voted, and I think there was a response made.
Yeah, what you may be speaking to is that this question about whether where they're registered to vote. I do understand, and again, I haven't had time to study or to read it, but I do understand that there is when somebody is relocated as a result of a natural disaster, that for a period of time, and I don't think it's limited, they can remain registered to vote where they lived prior to the natural disaster.
Exactly.
Correct.
And when it comes to the homestead exempt, that's gonna be something that the voter registrar office or somebody else in the state's gonna have to take care of. We're not the police that. Now, we will be when they bring it to our attention to take action we may.
Well, Sonny, we had
There is a limit, though. There is a time limit.
Yeah, but we had a meeting on this just, what was it, last month, Ms. Katie? And from that meeting, these documents that was given to me initially through being anonymous, it shows everything you're saying. Sonny, you might be spot on, but with the one lady Mr. Dukey's talking about, they switched their homestead. They've been homesteaded for years. But we left that meeting under the impression that she would not attend meetings, and we would reappoint her back to her seat to make sure all the legalities are covered and whatnot. Now, what happened since that meeting, I have no clue, but that's what I was.
Eagle, is that on the agenda today?
I don't think it is, but with a card, so that's just responding back in a public setting. I mean, I believe we did meet and address a lot of those concerns, just for the public to know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Garrett Schultz. Coates. Sorry.
Hello. My name's Garrett Coates. I'm with the group of individuals proposing the laydown yard on Austin Road. And I just wanted to be here to address any questions or concerns by the jury.
Are you the builder, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what is the plan and details that you see, Garrett?
So the plan and details right now are a little unspecific. What I can say is that we've had brief discussions with a potential tenant that has expressed interest in either a laydown yard, an RV park, or a parking facility. We filled out the application in such a way that was specific as it needed to be, but also vague enough to say that we didn't have the to say that we know for a fact this place is going to be a laydown yard is not accurate. They expressed to us that there could be other needs, and so that's what we're proposing.
Sir, I'm sorry, I just got up on this today, so are you live near the site there?
I'm from Sulphur.
Okay.
I live in Lake Charles. Yes, sir.
So basically, you still ain't determined what type of business is gonna be conducted on this property?
Not specifically.
And just for public record, I did ask Gary about this. I've talked to Gary, I've talked to the concerned residents. The permit is not fully filled out yet. There is a few things that need to take place. So at the very least, it would need to be tabled today anyways. I know Mr. Sonny was vocal about voting it down, but at the very least, the best that Garrett could leave today with was a table, because it's still missing a few things to properly be applied for.
And I think it would need to be specific.
Okay.
You know, a person may have a problem with one of those and maybe not
Sure.
the other, so.
And in notion of the plans, you know, some of the concerns was utilizing them parish roads. That is a huge thing. So in your design, it might be, especially if you're thinking about doing some kind of heavy trucks come in, it probably needs to be straight from the state highway, because that'd be a huge hurdle. Our roads just are not set up for that.
So is it of the opinion of the jury that the access coming from straight from the highway would be more beneficial to the community than the off-roads?
Absolutely.
That's just one aspect. That's just one aspect. That's the access. We had no problem before in the Hackberry area voting down a man camp. Okay, we have the authority. We have the responsibility to look after the safety and well-being of our constituents. And I want to be upfront with him. I don't think that's a good place. Sometimes we can't control the location of a business and where it needs to be. Sometimes you can. This is one of those times. It doesn't have to be there. You can have a lay down yard anywhere, have an RV park anywhere. Whatever we put there needs to be a reason why it needs to be there and no place else. We have to look out for the best interests of our people. And without zoning, it gives us a little bit of stretch, but we do have that authority. And I'm against that where it is. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's good for the community. It may be good for the business, it may be good for somebody else, but it's not good for the community, and those are the people that I represent. So that's my 2 cents.
I understand. Mr. McGee, would you feel the same way about an RV park?
We'll talk about that when it says RV park.
Okay. And I just want to mention, you know, directly across Highway 27, this was, I guess, 2019, kind of when similar type of industrial environment was happening. A permit was given for a 9-acre RV park that bordered residential housing, and now is across the street from the high school. I don't really view this as any different than that, and that was approved.
I do understand, Garrett, and me have had good conversations. Between now and then, a lot has changed in this parish.
I understand.
And every one of us does work for we the people out there. So
yes, sir.
And it's like I told you before. Think of you as a friend, but you know we have to stand up for the people, and that's you would want the same out of us in Calcasieu Parish if we were sitting there representing you. So.
And Katie, just to touch on this topic a little bit, I had a mishap with a permit that was given in my area specifically. Is there any way we could link, say, these coastal use with these bigger projects with road bonds to where it's mandatory to kind of clear that up from different things taking place, kind of like we run into in the Creo area?
Yes, actually, all of your parish roads are 10-ton limited, and it's up to the discretion of your road and bridge superintendent on whether or not he'll allow usage of that parish road, and if he does allow it, he requires the bond. But he definitely can prohibit use of his parish road.
So I was under the impression that it was already mandated for the roads to be bonded.
It is mandated.
Okay.
He can restrict use. He can restrict access to any company.
I think enough people said it, Gary.
Yes, sir.
We're not anti-business. I mean, we're really not. But it's, I think Ms. Brown said it perfectly. We just need to be strategic and make sure these are placed in the right locations.
I understand.
Got plenty of property around.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Anthony.
How are y'all doing? My name's Anthony Terrio. I fish right here in Cameron. I went and asked Mark, we were told that they had a Venture Global, or maybe it's just LNG, they have a Fisherman Counselor Board. I was wondering if y'all know of them or know who they are.
Katie, are you familiar with that? I thought there was a shrimp association. I thought it was a shrimp.
Like a task force?
Well, I think.
No, at the coastal youth permit, deal the other day, I was watching it on TV and it said that they had a Fisherman Counselor Board.
I believe they're.
I've heard of it before, but I don't know any of the members.
Yeah.
So, is this Ventures task?
I'm not sure if it's Ventures or the whole LNG.
I know, I got quite a few emails after, I guess this happened last week sometime, and texts about, a fishery council advisory board, and that everybody was welcome. I believe it was stated from BG's attorneys at whatever this was partaking, and I didn't know of any. The only thing I knew we had between us and, say, Venture or anything was with this dredge stuff. We had 3 people on a committee that would go get updates. Other than that, I did not know of anything.
Right.
Isn't there an action board as well? There is an action board with LNGs, right?
A action board
Like
that
a
represents.
public action board or something?
We have a community advisory group. Each LNG has a community advisory group, but it's voluntary. The LNG companies establish it and they choose their board members. It's nothing that is like sanctioned or appointed through the police jury. There is the oyster task force that you do appoint a board member, a representative. And that's the only thing that really comes through the jury's purview. There is, I think, there is like a shrimper task force statewide type group, but the police jury does not appoint a member to that. That is 100% voluntary participation. You're welcome to go to the meetings, but I don't even know how often they meet. I can find out for you.
Well, it wasn't that. It was brought up at the at the deal they had the other day from Venture Global's lawyers that they had a Fisherman Counselor Board. So I figured if we have problems with something, that should be the people that we should get to talk to.
Can we get with Venture,
Yes.
Ms. Katie?
Yeah,
Not sure if anybody's, I don't see any representatives here.
I'll reach out to Sarah, would be our point of contact, and see if she's aware of anything. And
Mr. Anthony, are you wanting to be on that board if they have one?
Well, no, but if we have problems, shouldn't they be the people we get to talk to?
Would you serve if we find out there is one, if we can get you on there?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to get input.
Yeah.
Be on that board.
I mean, but the other problem is, what's the update on the dredging? The dredging that was supposed to be done in the lake and everything else. I was out there the other day. I don't see Mike Hook's dredge or anything. But then we were told that Venture Global took over their dredge site, CPRA's, and that they're going to use that site.
Hadn't heard that.
Right, that's.
We'll have to find that information out. Maybe Miss Katie, Miss Kara.
I mean, I want y'all to understand, y'all do know that, and I brought it to Mark's attention, that y'all are the governing body of Calcasieu Lake. That if there is a problem, it is on y'all.
I did speak.
We don't have a oyster task force. Our oyster task force would go to y'all, and then y'all make the recommendations to, and we're the only lake that does this. No other lakes in Louisiana. When we went up there and we tried to talk about the dredging for the oysters and, wanted to use someone besides Ryan Booyah, because he told us that, all the bills that he carries deals with the LNG projects. He said, no matter if you come up here and you make good points or not, you still have to go through your Cameron Parish Police Bureau. They're y'all governing body. They're the ones that y'all have to go to, and they have to come to us. You can't come up here as a fisherman and get anything done. So, I mean, all the problems that we have, and which you're going to see a lot. Because, I mean, the other thing is, when Wildlife and Fishery was up here and they told you about the places that they checked and the mud that they found, what y'all didn't realize was they only checked 7 sites. I mean, there's 50 oyster reefs, you know, out there in Calcasieu Lake, and they checked 7 of them. And the closest one that they checked to No Name is a mile away. So all the ones that were in front of it that I invited y'all to come and see, you know, they don't look good.
So the
You know,
dredging,
but I am inviting you right now to come and see. Come and see what's out there. You're our governing body. You need to know what's out there. I shouldn't have to send you pictures or show you or call you or tell you. Y'all need to come. I mean, our problems are going to come to y'all eventually. And they're coming. I promise you they're coming.
Mr. Tan, the dredge is no longer out there. Is that right?
The dredge was never out there. Mike Hook's dredge was never out in the lake.
Mr.
It was
President.
supposed to start, you know, what, in December,
Go ahead, Katie.
but it never
So,
came.
The Mike Hooks project that he's talking about, that is a CPRA funded project, CS 78. It was supposed to start in December. They have voluntarily postponed it. There are some talks about what to do with that project, and when they make the decision, they will come update the jury in a public meeting. But right now, all we know is it is postponed, but that is something that is funded through CPRA. It is their project. It has nothing to do with anything that's permitted within the police jury or our project. That's for No Name Bayou.
Is there any dredging behind the levee at No
I don't
Name?
know.
Okay.
I want to ask y'all that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause I
You
know,
do I still see mud? Yeah, I still see mud in my trap. So I feel there's still settlement coming from somewhere. You know, I mean, you know, that's the questions I want to ask. You know,
yeah, 'cause
is it still dredging? Is it still coming out? You know, I mean,
I know it's been at least a month or 2 months since we last talked with Venture. I think they said they was gonna start reaching out to the fishermen. However, I remember before this CPRA job was gonna start up, I did ask in a public setting to the people, CPRA and that, to meet on site and at least talk and actually look at what the initial problem is, because I was out there quite a bit with a few of the fishermen. And I've never heard back to go look or anything like that. But I do know, I did talk to, I think it was Wildlife and Fisheries. I don't know to what extent, but he did rattle off a RS code or law that we are some type of government authority for Calcasieu Lake. If we could maybe track that down and see what's what, or heads or tails of it.
Okay.
all right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Appreciate you. Y'all looked at the agenda. Review agenda. Any questions, Mr. Magnus?
When did I see?
The only thing I got, Mr. President, would be, I believe if we could do an add-on for Mr. Timmy for the constable.
So Mr. Ronald Nunez Senior resigned as constable of Ward 3, so we're gonna do an add-on to appoint Tim DuPont in his place.
I do have a question. What is 22? What is that?
22 is a CDBG funded, disaster funded grant. We are advertising to procure a A&E firm to do the design for the sewer lift station project. They are going to construct some submersible pumps and do some improvements in the sewer board.
Okay, when it said sewer, I wasn't sure if it was public sewer or.
Yes, Cameron Sewer Board, it would be their project. We will serve as the fiscal agent. We will oversee all construction activities, and at the conclusion of the project, it will be turned over to Cameron Sewer Board, and they are responsible for all future operating and maintenance.
And they're good with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What about number 20 with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and that debris removal or whatever.
Right, so, not that I want to talk about Hurricane Laura, but just for example, after Laura, all of the state highways, it is their responsibility to collect the debris, but they don't typically collect debris in front of commercial property. So what the jury did at the time was negotiated an MOU with them to where the jury actually paid their debris companies to pick up the commercial debris on state highways. And we had to have an easement and right-of-way type of agreement in place. And then when we submitted it to FEMA and got reimbursed, FEMA reimbursed us instead of the state. And so this would just be a similar type of agreement, but we would have it pre-disaster. So it just kind of cuts a lot of the red tape and it kind of expedites collection of debris after a disaster instead of us having to do everything after the fact.
Do we need to add to the voting agenda for the veteran sign? Is that something that we have to?
It doesn't require any action, Mr. Johnny.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I would just think, Mr. President, it's important if y'all want to have some discussion about item 19. It is for consideration. This would be a new ordinance. All this is basically doing is codifying what we currently do since the 1990s, where the state statute gave you authority to levy that 2% occupancy tax on all your hotel motels. And now that we have RV parks that are for commercial use, all this is going to do is just going to, like I said, that define what an RV park is and what overnight camping is. So for the first 29 days, they are required to pay that 2% hotel motel tax just like any other. But anything that is consecutively 30 days or more, they're going to be defined as long-term overnight extended stay, and so they would be exempt on day 30 moving forward. And so that's basically what the ordinance is going to say. You have the option to consider it and vote on it today. You would still have to go through your public notice period, have your hearing, and then when you would vote, if you voted yes, then it would become an ordinance. And if you don't vote today to advertise this, then you're essentially just forfeiting your right to collect that tax.
So is there a formal application for those folks that are long-term?
Yes, that is something that we would have to come up with. And so, again, we're currently are doing it that way. We have a form that you fill out, and it kind of just defines exactly how long you're renting your lots for. And so we actually also, as a part of this, is we have a CEA that we have to execute with the Tourist Commission because we collect it on behalf of the Tourist Commission. And so we would retain that 2% admin fee on the collection to offset costs that are incurred against your accounting staff for collecting it and disseminating it. So that's basically everything is wrapped up into this one ordinance and this one CEA agreement. Your Tourist Commission has signed the CEA already, and they're just waiting for counter signature, but we didn't want it to get it signed until you were for sure going to pass the ordinance and implement it.
So this is basically with the Tourist Commission already come, and we kind of had debate back and forth about different things, and I think we even put dates and times and stuff like that on it. So this is just to create the ordinance.
This is to create the ordinance.
Okay.
And it's your hotel motel tax, and it's a pass-through tax on your renter. It's not something that you are assessing on your homeowners or your taxpayers or your residents. It's a pass-through. So you just, for example, when you go stay at L'Auberge, if you look at your bill at L'Auberge, they always have that 2%. I think actually calculates a little bit higher, but it'll say your occupancy tax. It's a pass-through to whoever's renting the room. It's the same thing that your guys are doing, but you're going to also make it applicable to your RV parks. It's not just your one hotel in Hackberry paying it.
So if it passes today, that's a 60-day process?
It is. We have been collecting it since the 90s based off of the state statute authority. We just never codified it in our local ordinance. You continue to collect it. There's no enforcement piece on it. It's just something they're obligated to pay, but you as a jury had no way to enforce it without an ordinance.
Think you've been collecting it from who, the motels or the campers also?
Everyone. Yeah, hotels, so your Airbnbs that are rented out in Holly Beach, your short-term RV rentals in Holly Beach, your hotel in Hackberry, you had some Sweet Lake Camp and Oil, Hackberry Rod and Gun, Myers Landing, you know, those types of businesses they've been paying for years.
Did I understand you say that they still are gonna pay on the first 28 days and then they're exempt after that?
Yes,
How are you gonna monitor that?
it's self-reported. We don't really have an enforcement staff on that, so it's going to be self-reported. Just we'll have to audit it. You know, we request for documents to prove that it's a long term, so we could request maybe to look at their rental agreements. Most of the time, most of these RV parks, they execute some sort of lease with the renter, and so we can request that, but it's strictly going to be self-reporting. We have no audit or compliance section at the police jury office.
Ms. Robin, I have a question. How is your permitting office operating now that we're using a contract inspector? Have you had any issues with it or any adjustments that we have to make?
No, sir. We're still sending all of everything still comes to our office. And because we like to keep, track of it in our permitting system. And then what we do is we forward it on to the third-party company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still yours, the lead operator?
Yes, correct. And they do, I don't know if you're aware of this, but their inspections that they do are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anything on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays would be for emergency reconnects. So they are just trying to stick to the Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's working out fine.
Working out all right?
Yes.
Just wondered.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Could I ask a question about a camper? Like when you have an RV park, let's say I have an RV park and I have, say, 5 rent campers in there, and I understand what she's saying, that you're gonna pay taxes or whatever on that. But let's say someone moves the camper there, and it's not theirs, or they're renting it from someone. I mean, you don't even know that. Like a lot of places you see, the big park has lots of rent campers in it, and you don't know. I mean, how are y'all gonna collect money from them?
Well, rent camper's gonna be a long-term thing anyhow.
Yeah, if they're renting the camper out, then it's just considered like a hotel room.
Yeah, that's a
They're
lot.
having to collect the money, correct?
I understand, like it's my campers at my park, so I collect the money, so you're gonna ask for the information on it or whatever. But someone that's bringing the camper here and renting it out, how are you getting the information from them? I have to give you the information because it's my park, but he's just gonna say it's just a rented out camper. So the person that's actually renting the camper out, they're getting away with renting them out and not collecting, y'all are not collecting any money from them.
Mr. Tan, you saying if somebody put one in your park and rented it to someone else, is that the question?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, but you're gonna pay.
Like a lot of people are bringing campers down here, putting them in parks and then renting them out.
So
How are y'all collecting any money? You're not gonna collect no money from them because they're not from here. The RV park owner doesn't know that, they thinking that that's their camper. They don't know that they're renting that out.
But you're gonna charge it to them.
No, if you call my park and you say how many rent campers I have, like y'all are gonna keep up with, I'm gonna tell you how many I have, cause it's my park, I'm local. But someone out of town that's bringing campers here to just rent, they're just putting them in a park and renting them out. The owner of the RV park thinks they're just paying the lot rent. So he's collecting all that rent money and y'all are never getting nothing out of him.
We will get the tax on each one.
How do you know who's renting and who's just renting the spot? I mean.
It doesn't matter who's renting it, it only matters how many's in that park.
Okay.
Days, because it's, I think, 29 days?
Correct.
Anything less than
29
29 days is considered short term, and they pay the hotel motel.
And it's the obligation of the RV park owner to make sure that they're taking the money and turning it into the parish. It's not up to the individual renter to submit it to the parish. It's
I
up
still
to
don't
the
think you
owner.
understand what I'm saying. Like, if a guy brings 10 campers into a park and he's gonna rent them out, and most people rent them, say, for $500 a week. That means he's gonna collect $2,000. And he's gonna pay that RV guy, the one he's renting that spot from, is $600 or whatever, and then he's putting that other $1,500 in his pocket, and you're never gonna get none of that money because he's not local, he doesn't have to show you anything.
Who's
The
the park
RV
for?
park owner does though.
Whoever the
He's
park.
gonna show you the spot. Like me, if you come to me and you're wanting that 2%, you wanna know if I rented that camper out all month? Yeah, you do, cause that's how you're gonna get the extra money.
Well, we're gonna get the money. If you're a commercial RV park and you got 5, we're gonna collect on 5. Whether you renting them or sub-renting them or whatever, that's up to you.
But the person that's bringing them down here, renting them out, you're not collecting nothing from him, is what I'm saying.
Well,
He's gonna,
maybe not.
Tad's trying to say, how are we gonna police? We're not gonna be able to police that.
It's 100% self-reported
Self-reporting.
responsibility of the
I understand
RV
what you're
park.
saying. Yeah, there's no way that we have the manpower
Yeah.
to go out there to say.
But
is
now we
this-
know you got 5 in your park. On record.
well, that's what I say, you're gonna get that, 'cause I'm a local person with a bar, but,
Yes, sir.
how do you get it from someone that's bringing in 10 or 15, 20? I mean, they're getting all that scot-free.
Well, that RV park owner should report it, regardless of somebody rented the lot from that RV park owner.
Okay.
Any other questions, fellas?
Make a motion to adjourn.
A motion by Mr. Michael, Mr. Wendell, all in favor?
Is 12 o'clock okay, Mr. President, for the next meeting?
12 o'clock, 30 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
12 o'clock? Is that good enough, Mayor?